Hey Aquarius, welcome to July 2020. I wanted to say Black Lives Matter. And I also wanted to talk about this channel being called The Revolutionary Revolution. In 2013, that was kind of the beginning of my awakening, so to speak. And I was in a very shitty job, and I was like, wow, this system is so, untenable. We need a revolution. And I was like, but we should revolutionize the way we do revolutions, because instead of just giving one power to one group to another group, we should think about, what does power mean? How can I cultivate personal power? Because there's different kinds of power. There's the power that, other people, I'm going to talk about this King of Wands, actually. So there's power that, other people bestow upon us. That is stuff like money, class, status. And we don't really have control over our external circumstances all the time, even though, the myth, I guess, is that we do have control over our circumstances all the time. We don't. And things are not always just. So when that is the case, when we are kind of operating under illusions, we can feel not right with ourselves because we're not being properly mirrored, so to speak, right? You think about this with parenting, I guess. Part of why we live in a dysfunctional society, one might argue, is that we live in a culture with a lot of dysfunction. And so when we're children, instead of being reflected back, our wholeness or our worthiness or our deservingness, we're reflected back kind of this weird distorted version of ourselves. That's what I get with this shadow lady. We're taught these kind of shadows in our early environments, and so then it might be hard for us to step up into who we really are, and it might be hard for us to feel that sense of connection. Also, again, to our own sense of I have a voice, I have something to say, I have control, I have autonomy. We're given so many messages, perhaps, that that's not the case, that we think to have power, I need to go get money, right? And it's an example. But what is power when it's I really own myself, I really know myself, I've witnessed this shadow lady, I've witnessed my illusions, and I've done this deep healing work where I really know myself and I really love and have soothed all these parts of myself. With this, I'm kind of getting Aloe Vera vibes, and I'm kind of getting that you have a good understanding of truth. Truth is a healing balm. Not that the moon is a bad energy, but the moon can definitely be, secrets, and it can be things we keep hidden from ourselves, which is why it's good for it to come up too. But how, again, has that been making us doubt ourselves or pursue things that are not really true to ourselves, because we think for me to be upright, I need X, Y, or Z, when really to be upright, what I need is this healing. I need to kind of understand that I have power, for example, to bring it back to power, because I have integrity and I have good values or whatever like that. With the healing, I'm talking about there's the way the external world receives us by its own standards, which may or may not be toxic sometimes. And then there's how I live, my character, what's true for me. So a silly example is the star makes me think of someone talking about a star, right? I can pursue fame and, status to be important so that I can feel creative, but really my power is not about whether or not I'm famous or not. It's about that creative well. How am I filling this? How am I soothing myself? How am I seeing myself accurately. With that aloe vera, I feel like part of the wounding feels like from not being seen. So when I'm seeing myself clearly and I'm seeing myself for like all my goodness, then I'm like really feeling more myself and I'm feeling more empowered, and that's true power, right? And that has nothing to do with money or status or what other, because like people who have money and power and status can be like empty shells inside, and people who have very little can be very full and like very like full of this like kind of like self-love, creative energy of like healing, also like old trauma, old wounds, old bad stories, old like places where we didn't receive enough love as kids, for example. Like the star is the star of this reading, I'd like to say, Aquarius, and it's your energy. You are the star in the tarot. So I fucking love it for you, honestly, Aquarius. I would say this month, July, is really you just like feeling yourself, like feeling like, wow, I'm really awesome. Like, wow, I'm like remarkable. Wow, I'm a miracle. Like, honestly, Aquarius, I feel like this month, like, you're kind of like, your mantra could just be like, I am a miracle. Like, my existence is a miracle. The fact that I've been through everything I've been through and I'm still here and I'm still doing like everything I'm doing now is a miracle. Like, really just kind of viewing life that way. Because I think too, for whatever trauma or like old illusions that kind of like made you feel like not yourself, with the star and this like opportunity for this deep healing, I feel like you're just really feeling, sorry, I like lost it. I was channeling all this shit and then I kind of lost it. I don't even know what I'm saying in these readings because I'm channeling, so the words just come and I just say them, and it's like, if any of this resonates with you, great, and if not, anyway, what was I saying? Healing this old, transcending old trauma, transcending old shitty stories, so that you're really just feeling like the truth, and like there's this celebration happening. I mean, this feels like hanging out with your friends and like maybe having like a really just genuinely good time, and like the stuff that life is made of, right, is like you being yourself, you just being who you are, being authentic, being like just naturally you, just enjoying the moment, being present, and like having a party with your best friends and like laughing and making memories and having a good time, and really kind of just like being in this moment, being present and not needing things to be a different way. I feel like there's also like a big release this month for you with this 9 of Wands and this 4 of Cups in reverse, which is just like, maybe you're giving up on something, but like honestly, maybe giving up on something is just like such a fucking blessing. Sorry for my language if that offends you. I always forget. Okay. But like with the moon, you know, too, and I'm thinking about these like old stories or like whatever, like maybe it is like, what if you were like pursuing fame your whole life, but it was making you feel empty and like cheated inside, and then you're like, wow, I'm giving up on that dream for fame because I'm actually reclaiming my dream for full autonomy and like creative abundance and like being my own boss and like just doing things at my own pace and honoring my own needs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, okay, I've been under this illusion my whole life and I'm healing so much that like all the things that were kind of like holding me back or like making me feel trapped in this system of like not trusting my own power or not feeling like I had any power, I'm like letting go of those stories or those ideas from all this deep healing, and I'm really being present in the moment also with my friends and just enjoying the moment and having a good time and being like, wow, this is the stuff that life is made of. This is like the purpose of existence is all right here. It's just me being with these people I love and like having a good time with them, and this is like when I'm on my deathbed kind of energy. This is like gonna be like, oh, that was so great, I'm so glad I lived my full life. All this other stuff about the like achievement and blah blah blah, like who cares? Maybe I'll achieve things when I let go so much of putting the pressure on things to need to look a certain way or be like right for the script that the system made, you know. And it's like, I feel like there's a release, especially since you're an Aquarius You're a rebel, you're a revolutionary by nature, and so I just feel like you being the sign of healing really makes sense. It's like you were already an alien the whole time, right? Aquariuses are naturally aliens. And so the Aquariuses naturally weren't probably happy with the way things were going anyway. So letting go of all of that like stuff that was like so heavy is such a relief, and it's such like a lifting of burdens. Like just again, aloe vera. It's like the things that were burning you, you're letting go of it and being like, okay, I'm not holding on to that anymore. And then you're like, oh, like soothing, healing, connection, being like myself, just being really authentic, being like relaxed, being like happy to be here. That's a mantra for you. Like, I'm just happy to be here. Because it's like, if you say that, like, I'm just happy to be here, it's like you probably are just happy to be there, and then you could just be happy and you are where you are. And it's like not needing that idea of yourself in this past. Like you thought like, oh, my idea of myself needs to look a certain way, but you're like, my idea of myself is that I just am what I am, kind of. And that's cool because I'm an alien and I'm amazing, and I'm like, the more I get in touch with myself, the more I get in touch with my magic, and the more magical it becomes. A shorter reading for you, Aquarius, I guess, but that feels like the message, and it feels like, what else is there to say? It's a good month to just let you be you and to enjoy yourself and to relax. So there you go. Love you. Bye.